fyrir þetta skóli.
Við stöndum hér saman í efra Breiðholti, þar sem draumarnir okkar geta ræst. Við spilum körfubolta, hlæjum og hoppum, förum á bókasafni næst. Við stöndum hér saman, stolt og keik, stefnum hátt í námi og leik. Við virðum hvers manns val og trú, vinsinn sínum ég og þú. Óskir okkar rætast allar sinn, því ævintýrin gerast hér enn. Tónlistin hún ómar inn í minni sál, þar sem hún kveikir lítið bál. Minningin hún lifir vin áttu bönn, við kveðjum sér saman, hönd í hönd. Komum öll saman í efra Breiðholti, þar sem draumarnir geta ræst. Komum öll saman í efra Breiðholti, þar sem draumarnir geta ræst. Saman stöndum við, saman göngum við á lífsins leið. Saman stöndum við, saman göngum við á lífsins leið.
Andri Snær Magnason o čase a vode. Rozhovor o budúcnosti. 4. október 2102. Nachádzame sa v kuchyni domu na ulici Hladbajer. Lesíkom sfarbeným do jesenných farieb tečie rieka Etlida Aur a z bazénov vo štvrti Sélaus stúpajú stĺpy pary. Na pouličnej lampe pri škôlke sedí havran. Moja dcéra Hulda Filipia dom odkúpila a zrekonštruovala ho. Už má vyše 90. V kuchyni s ňou sedia aj jej vnúčatá, 10-ročné dvojičky. Ujedajú z palaciniek a sledujú rám na stole, v ktorom sa prehrávajú videá. V salóne domu na ulici Sélaus 3 sedia vystrojené deti a v tom vôjde žena s tortou ozdobenou zapálenými sviečkami. Tú ženu som kedysi poznala, vysvetľuje Hulda Filipia. Meno som dostala po nej. Narodila sa v roku 1924, pred 178 rokmi. Poďme trochu počítať. Navrhne a zamieša cesto na palacinky. Počítať čo? Spýtajú sa dievčatá. Je to taký malý hlavolam, ktorý ma naučil otecko, keď som mala 10. Kedy ešte bude žiť niekto, koho budete mať rady? Čo ty myslíš? Máte 10 rokov. Kedy budete mať 90? Na papier si zapíšu. 2090 plus 90 rovná sa 2180. Predstavme si, že sa vám v roku 2170 narodí vnúča. Kedy bude mať 90? Kedy ešte o vás bude rozprávať? Počítajú. 2260? Presne tak. Len si to predstavte. Človek, ktorého budete mať najradšej na svete, bude stále nažive v roku 2260. Predstavte si ten čas. Ja som sa narodila v roku 2008 a vy budete poznať človeka, čo sa dožije roku 2260. A celý ten čas, viac než 250 rokov, budete prepájať vy. Čas, ktorého sa môžete dotknúť vlastnými rukami. Váš čas je časom tých, ktorých poznáte a máte rady a formuje vás. Aj časom tých, ktorých raz budete poznať a mať rady. Čas, ktorý vytvoríte. Na všetkých vašich činoch záleží. Každý deň vytvárate budúcnosť. A túto nádhernú poslednú časť o čase vám teraz Braňo prečíta po islandsky.
Slovo tímin znamená po slovensky čas. Tímin sem þið getið snert með berum höndum. Tími ykkar tími einhvers sem þið þekkið og elskið og skapar ykkur og tími einhvers sem þið munuð þekkja og elska, tímin sem þið skapið. Allt sem þið gerið skiptir máli. Þið skapið tíðina á hverjum einasta degi.
Dobrý deň, vážení milí hostia a priatelia Islandu, ale aj Slovenska. Práve sme mali možnosť započúvať sa do nádherných úryvkov z knihy Andrisnær Magnússona o čase a vode, ktoré nám v slovenčine prečítala a predniesla Kristína Domaňová zo stálej konferencie aktérov vo vzdelávaní a originálnej islandčine Branislav Bédi z Inštitútu Árniho Magnússona. Ďakujeme veľmi pekne.
Branislav Bédi from the Institute of Árni Magnússon. Thank you.
Inak tá krásna skladba, ktorú ste počuli, to bola hymna školy
was the anthem of Hetla Skóli in Reykjavik, and this is a school that we will hear about today, later on. However, what's quite interesting is that the anthem was composed by a student of Hetla Skóli, so this is a merge of audiovisual production, creativity, which is very important, and the pictures that you will be seeing throughout today's workshop are by I really like the excerpt. I hope you did as well, and maybe we will read this book. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to welcome all the guests, as well as the organizers from the Standing Conference of Stakeholders in Education, the Trnava University, the Murtud Center on Bilingualism, as well as the Slovak Television and Radio. Welcome those of you who are here with us in the studio, and welcome to those of you who are joining us online. This workshop is a part of a unique strategic bilateral initiative called Studio 25 Iceland. We will talk about this initiative today. We will hear about its aims and objectives. The aim of the initiative is to improve mutual knowledge and understanding between Slovakia and Iceland through cultural education of the general public who can learn more about this fascinating country and its culture. And we want to really let the public know what it's about. But we also want to show why it is important and good when we travel and when we meet about other cultures and other countries. At the heart of this initiative are the young people from Slovakia up till the age of 25. And that's why the studio is called Studio Iceland 25. And it's not only about cultural education 2.0, but we also have these participants actively involved in the production of audiovisual outputs about Icelandic culture. So it's the Cultural Education 3.0. And here you can see the pictures taken during the study trip that our students took to Iceland in March, where they prepared reports, pictures, film footage, and you will be able to see their production in Bratislava on the 15th of April during our final closing conference, but we will show you some bits and pieces even today. We believe that the Studio 25 Iceland has potential to bring about the qualitative difference and progress in the perception of the young people. And this is also the subject of the accompanying sociological survey. The results of this survey will be used to further develop the initiative, and that's why we would like to ask you to take part in this survey. You can find QR codes on your seat, so please, if you have a moment, scan it and fill in the questionnaire that we prepared for you, because it's very important for us to be able to make the Studio 25 better. And now I would like to invite to join me at the stage someone who is behind this creative center in Košice. Please give a round of applause to Martin Šabľa.
Martin, dobrý deň.
Martin.
Dobrý deň.
Tak poprosím vás,
Afternoon, welcome. So can you tell us more about the Studio 25? Why was it established and what it has already managed to do? Well, when I was thinking where to start, I thought back to time when I accompanied my grandson to see the premiere of Minecraft movie. And some of the lines from the film stuck with me and in my head, that it's easier to destroy than to create. Also that the creation requires courage, while destroying is only for the coward. And I believe that this pretty much captures the mission of the creative centers. These centers have been established to give space for the young people to create. So this might be the short answer to your question. Thank you. And how do you see the outcomes so far? Well, once again, I would perhaps draw back to my experience. Many philosophers are only talking about things. What we have managed to do is we've transformed the words to the action. We've taken the first step. We've established a framework for this concept and for the development of further development of the strategic framework as something that we called Culture 3.0, as it was mentioned already. And we are trying to develop the culture so that we can move to the phase when we start creating the cultures ourselves. And we are at the stage when we are selecting creative partners, because this creative center is the infrastructure basic that we can use as a starting point. We have very good technical equipment, but what we need is to bring in also the opinions and perspectives of the people who are from other spheres of life. We need the partners who, I don't want to name all of them for the fear of omitting someone, but you can see their logos, of the logos of our existing partners already at the screen. And these are the partners we are working with in order to develop the concept further. Thank you very much for this. And I believe that our students serve to prove that you are indeed successful in fulfilling this aim. And they will tell us about their experience from Iceland, the living proof that you are indeed fulfilling the planned outcome. Thank you very much. On behalf of the studio in Košice and on behalf of all the creative partners and all the other creative studios, I would like to welcome you all to this workshop.
Poďme si trošku priblížiť, že aký je náš dnešný program, z čoho spočíva.
Let us look at the agenda that awaits us today. We will have 4 blocks filled with information and experience. So we will start with the discussion panel with our guests from Iceland. Then we will hear the participants of the Open Innovative Studio talking about their experience from Iceland. Then we will have a short break for you to refresh yourself.
audiovizuálne
then
tvorby
the
v
third block
každodennom
is devoted
živote
to
školy
the
Fetlaskóly s Ingou Stefan
audiovisual
Stótyr a v záverečnej
creation in
štvrtej časti nám
Fetlaskóly with
Renáta Emilson Pešková a
Inge
Branislav
Björk.
Bédi ukážu, ako sa dá islandský
Stefan
jazyk
Stótyr,
naučiť
and
skrz
at the
5
end,
našich zmyslov. Takže
we
bude to
will hear
naozaj a takéto interaktívne. Takže poďme rovno na
Brano
to.
talking
Začneme
about
prvou
how
časťou
you
a to
can
panelovou
learn
diskusiou.
Icelandic using your
Island.
five senses.
Krajina
So it will be very
ohňa a
interactive.
ľadu,
So let's
gejzírov
start
a
with the
polárnej
first
žiary.
panel.
Ale vedeli ste
Iceland
napríklad
is
aj to,
like
že
the land
islandská
of the
spoločnosť
northern
patrí medzi
lights
najviac
or
multikultúrne
volcanoes. But did
a
you know that it
inkluzívne
also
na
belongs
svete?
among the
Svedčí o
most
tom aj fakt, že v
intercultural and
organizácii
inclusive in the world?
Mundurmal The Association
Proving
on
this faith
Bilingualism sa každú sobotu s podporou
was
vlády mesta
is the fact
Reykjavik
that
vyučuje viac
in
ako 20
Mudurmal, the
rôznych
Association on
materinských
Bilingualism,
jazykov.
with
A
the support of
práve
the government
o tom, aké je to
or
žiť
of
v
the
tejto
city of
rozmanitej
Reykjavik,
spoločnosti, nám príde
every
porozprávať
week
expertka
more
na
than 20
multilingválnosť,
languages are
vysokoškolská
being taught.
pedagogička na House School
And
Island
talking about
a
this will be
predsedníčka
Renata
Združenia
Pešková,
materinského
the
jazyka.
university
Srdečne vítam
teacher
Renátu Emilson
at
Peškovú.
House School Island, and also the director and the chairwoman of the Mudurmal, the
Poďme ešte ďalej k tým
Association on
zaujímavostiam.
Bilingualism.
Vedeli ste
Ladies and
napríklad,
gentlemen,
že islandský
Renata
jazyk
Pešková.
má viac ako 50
And also, did you
rôznych
know that the
výrazov
Icelandic
pre
language
slovo
has
sneh?
more
O
than
týchto, ale aj
50
o mnohých
terms
ďalších
for
zákutiach islandčiny
denoting
nám
snow?
príde porozprávať jazykovedec
This
z
and many other
prestížneho
interesting
inštitútu
things will be
Artiho
talked about
Magnusona v
by
Reykjaviku. Privítajte ešte raz
Branislav
Branislava
Bédi,
Bédiho.
the linguist from the very prestigious Institute of Arni Magnusson in
No a
Reykjavik.
čo takýto príbeh? Idete si
And
počas materskej
then
dovolenky
imagine
zacvičiť
a
do posilňovne a zrazu
story
zistíte,
that
že
you're on your
máte
maternity
talent
leave
a
and you want to
stanete
go
sa
to the gym. And in the gym you
reprezentantkou
find out
Islandu
that you're actually
v
indeed
silovom trojboji.
talented
No,
and
na
you are
Islande
actually
zdá sa, je možné
becoming
absolútne
a
všetko, a
representative
to v akomkoľvek veku.
in
Viac o
powerlifting.
fascinujúcom svete športu na Islande nám prezradí
Fascinating
práve
world
táto
of
žena,
sports in Iceland
reprezentantka Islandu
will
v silovom
be
trojboji,
talked about
Lucia
by this
Martinsdottir.
fascinating
Vítajte.
lady Lucia Martinsdottir.
A naša štvrtá hostka sa k nám
And
pripojí
our
online.
fourth,
Za najinkluzívnejšiu školu na Islande je
guest
považovaná
will
Fetla School v
be
Reykjaviku, ktorú už
someone
sme
from
dnes
the Fetla
spomínali.
School in
Predstavte
Reykjavik,
si,
which is
že až
considered to be the most
90%
inclusive
študentov
school
nemá
in
islandčinu ako
the
svoj
world.
materinský
You
jazyk.
can just
A
imagine
napriek tomu, ako
if
sme
you
sa
have a
sami
school
aj
where
presvedčili
more
v
than
marci počas
90% of
spoločného
students
workshopu,
do not have
sú to
Icelandic as
sebavedomí
their
mladí ľudia, ktorí nemajú
native
problém
language.
vystúpiť na javisko, tvoriť
However,
podcasty,
they
tvoriť
are
filmy,
very
točiť filmy a
authentic,
skladať
they
aj
are
hudbu. A veľkú zásluhu na tom má práve
sufficient,
umelecké
and
vzdelávanie,
they
ktoré na
really
škole
know
manažuje naša
how
ďalšia
to
hostka
present
a
themselves
srdečne
through
zdravíme do
many means
Reykjaviku aj
of
Ingu Björk
expression. So,
Stefansdottir.
ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Inga Björn Stefansdottir from Reykjavik.
S Ingou sa porozprávame trochu
Inga
neskôr,
will
ale veríme, že všetko funguje
speak a
aj
bit
online
later
a
on,
nás
but I
takto
really
bude
hope that she
počúvať
can
a
hear us,
režia kýve, že áno,
and
takže ďakujeme za tieto
guys
informácie.
behind the
Pani
computer
Renáta
nod
Pešková,
their heads, so
Emilson
hopefully
Pešková, začneme
everything works
vami. Čo
fine.
vás viedlo k tomu,
Now,
aby
Miss
ste
Pešková, let's
začali
start
sa
with you.
zaoberať témou
Why have you
multilingválnosti
started
a inklúzie a prečo práve
looking
Island?
into multilingualism
Dobrý
and
den,
inclusion,
ono to
and
začalo
why
velice
have you
osobní. Mně se
chosen
narodil
Iceland?
syn a měla
Well, it's
samozřejmě
very
maminku, která mluvila
personal.
česky a tatínka,
My
který
son
mluvil
was
islandsky a
born,
tak
and
mě
he had a
začalo
mother
zajímat
who's speaking
naprosto
Czech and a father
nevědecky,
who was speaking
jak
Icelandic.
by to
So,
dítě mohlo
in a
být
very
dvojazyčné a jak naučit
non-scholarly way,
češtinu.
I
Založili jsme
started
českou školu,
thinking
ve které
how we could
mimochodem
actually
Lucinka naše
teach
také
him
učí češtinu v sobotu.
teach him both
Její dítě tam
languages.
chodí a moje dítě tam
And
chodilo 8 let
we started a
vlastně
Sunday
z té
school,
české
or
školy
actually a
jsem se
Saturday school
seznámila s
for that
Mundurmalem
matter, and
a
Lucia is actually
tak
teaching there as well.
mě to začalo zajímat do
And
té míry, že jsem vlastně
when
jako se přihlásila do
basically we were
doktorandského
there,
studia a
we
začala
also
to
look
zkoumat.
about Mundurmal,
aktivity všetky
and
rozvíjete
then
v
this
rámci
became the
jazyka na
topic
Islande.
of my
To bych tady mohla
of my
povídat hodně
PhD
dlouho,
study.
ale teď jsme třeba
Now
měli
I could
velice
go
zajímavý projekt,
for a
kde jsme
long
počítali
time
jazyky
talking
na Islandu.
about
To už bylo po
languages
třetí
in
u
Iceland.
příležitosti
We've just
Mezinárodního dne mateřských
finished a
jazyků.
third
Několik institucí
survey of the
spolupracovalo.
number of mother
Poslali
tongues in
jsme dotazník
Iceland.
do všech školek,
We've distributed
základních a
questionnaire
středních
in
škol a
all
chtěli jsme, aby učitelé
elementary
se ve třídě
schools,
zeptali dětí,
secondary
jakými
schools,
jazyky
and
mluví.
also
Takže to
preschool
nebylo
facilities.
specificky
And
jenom
we
o mateřských
asked the
jazycích, ale
teachers
všech jazycích.
to
Oni pak
ask
vyplnili
their
jednoduchý
students
formulář
what are
a
the
vznikla
languages
z toho
that they speak,
interaktivní
so not
mapa
necessarily
Islandu
only
se všemi
their
jazyky,
mother tongue.
které nám
And
tedy
based on this,
poslali
we
v
prepared
tom
the interactive
dotazníku a
map
zjistili
of
jsme, že
the language
je na
map of
Islandu
Iceland,
třeba
and we
5
found out
znakových jazyků
that, for
a
example, there are
víc než
5
100
sign
jazyků
languages
celkem,
existing in
kterými mluví
Iceland,
děti.
more than 100 languages used by children in kindergartens and elementary schools in Iceland. And what caught my attention was that the highest number was, or the highest proportion were the schools that speak more than 30 languages, but we even have the schools with more than 40 languages. So isn't it difficult for the pupils to understand each other? No, well, obviously, Icelandic is the language of education, and we need it in order to be able to communicate with each other. English is very important and very popular and very very well used in Iceland as well. But there is, for example, a significant Polish community where, and everyone speaks their own language. Mr. Bedi, what was so fascinating about Icelandic for you to study it as a scholar? Well, it started with old Icelandic sagas and manuscripts. For me, the manuscripts dating back to the 13th century, and it fascinated me that because this is basically the oldest still used language in Europe. We're talking about the old Viking Nordic dialect. And that's why I applied for the scholarship provided by the government of Iceland, and I was successful. So I started studying Icelandic at the University of Iceland. So you've been there for almost 20 years now? Has it fascinated you so much that you stayed? Yes. And it's not only the language, but also the Icelandic culture, which is completely different and incomparable to what we know here. And I'm fascinated by the difference, by the diversity that exists in our world. And this is what intrigues me so much, that I wanted to see why things are happening and developing in the way they are. And I wanted to also focus on teaching Icelandic as a second language. A lot is being spoken about the culture, the Icelandic culture being different, being fascinated. So what is this thing that intrigues you? What is different compared to the Slovak or Czech reality? And maybe that's a question for all of you. Well, it's I believe it's the unity. Feel the sense of belonging. I would say that maybe it's something like an opportunity to assert yourself as a parent, as a mother. Obviously, it has both pros and cons, but the reality is that in Iceland, even if you are becoming a parent, you can still make it in other roles, in other social roles, because it's not only about one parent taking care of everything. I would say maybe equality as well. It's something that fascinates me. Well, it doesn't mean that the the society basically is set in a way that you get a lot of support also at work as a parent. Yes, definitely the labor market is ready for people having kids, so we have Kurzarbeit or the shortened. You can use sick days without any problem if your child turns ill. So it's all very welcoming and accommodating. And also men and women actually have the paternity leave or parental leave together. So it's 6 months for the woman and 6 months for a man. So even if they don't want to, so the men have to do it, have to take it. Yes, they cannot transfer it to their wife. So I think that it's good also for the parents to establish their relationship with the child since a very early age.
Is there anything else you would like to add that was fascinating for you? Well, there was no prejudice when I arrived there 20 years ago. I was used to be exposed to prejudice in countries like Germany or England, and suddenly people were taking me equally, and I was really very happy. My self-confidence was growing, so I felt respect and I felt accepted, and I think it was a very good start. You've been living in Iceland for 20 years. Is there anything where you can see that the country, which was already in high standard 20 years ago, so despite is the country further developing? Of course it is. There is very fast development in technology, in society. Iceland is able to absorb all these new technologies. So the science is being changed, and the science and research has a very huge influence on our life. Immigration is changing. Political situation is changing. So Iceland is going through all types of changes, geopolitical. It's very similar to the changes other countries go through. I think the society is very dynamic, very well informed, and it accepts all the changes very well. Well, the more languages you know, the more you are a human. How did Icelandic language change you? I read an article that if you speak different language, it changes your personality, it changes your way of thinking. Is it your case when you speak in different language? For example, in Icelandic, are you a different person? Well, maybe some people in the audience know it, or maybe people who watch us online. Are you dreaming in other languages that you studied, or in languages of the countries where you lived for some times? Well, it happens to me. I'm not a different person, but when I travel in the world and when I meet Icelanders, well, Icelandic language is spoken by approximately 400,000 people, and there are another 400,000 all over the world, so it's not a high number. It's a bigger city in Europe. Well, you become a different person when you speak a different language, and it's easier for you to get closer to the native speakers. You have better access to the native speakers. Yes, when you meet Icelanders abroad, they take you, or they approach you as a person from the same country. But I can be very funny in English language, for example. I'm slowly starting to forget Czech language. Now I'm teaching especially the children. So somehow I am starting to forget Czech language. I use English and Icelandic much more. So it happens that sometimes you start forgetting the words in your mother tongue. I think it's very frustrating when you study the language in the country where you live. Very often you cannot express yourself properly. So it doesn't mean that you change as a personality. You just miss the words that you know in your mother tongue. So you have to somehow accommodate your speech. So it's not a change of personality, but you may create a different impact when you speak foreign language, not your mother tongue. So we were talking about cultural differences. Let's talk about sport. What about triathlon and powerlifting? How did you come to that? Well, in Iceland, and especially because of the weather in Iceland, people do not sports like hiking or cycling because of the weather. So majority of people go to the gym 3 times a week, for example. So the powerlifting is something that you can practice in the gym. And when you become good at it, maybe you think about participation in the competitions. Well, I did not select it. I would say that this sport has found me. What was surprising for you when it comes to the sports in Iceland? You mentioned that people go to the gym, maybe they walk by foot more than Czechs or Slovaks. Well, no, they don't walk very much by foot. They like to drive by car everywhere. But that's right. Many people go to the gym, or at least they pay for the entrance ticket. So there is very high saturation of gyms. People also like to go to the swimming pools. I would say it's quite of a national habit to go to the open air swimming pools, whirlpools, or cold water, or swimming in the sea. So there is a lot of water-related sport, and it's very typical for Iceland. How are top sportsmen supported in Iceland? Well, it depends on the type of sport. In my case, it's not such a popular sport, so we get certain support from the government to enable us to participate in the competitions abroad. We are taken care of, but of course it very much depends on the interest of the audience, how much the audience, the public is interested. So footballers or handball players, definitely they get more support. We also get some support from the state. I have to admit that in my sport, there are only 3 of us who are getting some state support, and we are 3 ladies, so somehow the men are not involved. So there is a lot of support for women, but it's not only because we are women, but we were able to achieve better results than our male colleagues. For example, female football is supported very much in Iceland. I don't think it's the case in the Czech or in the Slovak Republic, or maybe people are not watching it so much. But in Iceland, for example, people love to go to the World Championships, to go and support the players. So what is your next competition or championship? In 10 weeks there will be the World Championship, and it will be held in Chemnitz in Germany. So we will, fingers crossed, go back to language. There are not so many people speaking Icelandic language. Today we will also be able to watch the lesson in Icelandic, how to learn through 5 senses. So why should we be motivated to learn this language? Well, language is a key to the society. It's a key to a different mentality, to other dimension, to a different mindset and way of thinking. And why should we learn this language? Well, it's an individual question, but maybe one of the reasons is to be able to read literature and fiction in the original language, or to be able to speak to the native speakers in their own language. Communication is very important. Through communication we make business, we make contracts, we achieve compromises, and if there is native language included, I think all communication is much more easier and much smoother. Could you add something? Yes, when people arrive to Ireland, the islanders want them to learn Icelandic language because this is the country they decided to settle in. So there are many language courses, and by attending these courses, people show their respect and willingness to learn the language. Yes, and of course the Icelanders do not want to experience the situation that they go to a hotel or to some institution and they are not able to speak to the employees in Icelandic because the employees are foreigners who only speak English. So what about English? Is it possible to speak English? Yes, it is. And when you speak English, you will be able to make yourself understood. And now we would like to connect with Björn Stefansdottir. So first question for you. I think we see you. So how did the manager for art education come into being at Vetla School in Reykjavik? How did it happen that this position was?
My name is Björn Stefansdottir. I'm the head of music of Vetla School. But I think I'm more like a project manager. My job is to come up with new projects, gather amazing people to join me, and together we make it happen. I'm not a very formal person, but I'll try my best and stay focused here. I'm going to go over what we've been doing for the last few years, and then it would be wonderful to have a chat with you and answer the questions, any questions you have, and I try my best, no guarantees. At Fellaskóli, we are trying new ways to teach our students Icelandic. We have about 90% of our school students are bilingual, and we have about 28 languages in school. Today we're going to tell you about our experiments with music and creativity regarding how to teach them Icelandic. When we started this project 5 years ago, not many were learning to play instruments at Fellaskóli. However, with the initiative we undertook, we went from having one student in the school band of Árbærin Breiðholt, which they play as a brass band. We have now 36 students there, and 30 students are playing the violin and piano at Sigursveins Music School. This success was achieved through follow-ups and conversations with each student to see if they were interested in music education and whether they were using the leisure activity grants which each student in Iceland have a right to. We tried many methods, and I would like to show you one or two of them. And maybe I want to share with you.
Chcem ukázať aj niektoré tie metódy a to vybavenie v škole, ktoré využívate na audiovizuálne
could you show us some equipment that you use for audiovisual?
Okay, I hope you hear me. I'm going to play this. This is Rhythm and Lyrics. Is a course that we are very proud of. The kids are creating the songs and write Icelandic lyrics. Our teachers are absolutely wonderful and connect so well with the students that everyone is constantly smiling and working hard. Our music teacher, who teaches the younger children, is also on board, and they write songs and lyrics in her class as well, but not on the computer, but piano instead. In Rhythm and Lyrics, they work on Ableton Live, use a rhyming dictionary extensively in the lyrics creation progress. You can see them here. Just here they're making their songs, and they're just figuring out how they're gonna, what they're gonna do, what they're gonna write about. And now they're in the studio and they've finished their lyrics and the song. No one is afraid of they're singing. Everything is in Icelandic, so they're learning Icelandic by doing this, and no one's worried, as you can see. Quite happy people. The students are very proud of their lyrics. They're very proud of their jobs. And now I would like to show you, because we also do, when we go into the studio, we make music video as well. And I hope you can see how much fun everyone is having. If I do this, and I stop this, maybe we can share the video. Is this one? I hope the technical people are able to do this.
Koma spila tölvuleik. Já ég villa. Eftir skóla getum farið heim til að spila. Við skulum byrja í Blástars, vinna byggarinn. Síðan beint í Minecraft, undir dragoninn. Ég vil fara í Roblox. Ég líka til í það. Bestu spilað Breiðholt og fá fyrir að fæ leita. Viltu koma að spila tölvuleik? Já ég villa. Eftir skóla getum farið heim til að spila. Sumir spila solo, aðrir fara í lið. Tríó eða dúo, svona tölvuspilið. Stundum vinnum, stundum töpum, stundum endum í ósköpum. En við fáum aldrei nóg. Roblox, Minecraft, Mario. Viltu koma að spila tölvuleik? Já, ég vil það, já, ég vil það. Eftir skóla getum farið heim til að spila, til að spila.
Do toho naši hostia by nám mohli povedať, že o čom spievali, pretože
maybe our guests could help us understand the lyrics, because you mentioned that the students are proud of these lyrics. Well, they say they would like to play computer games and Minecraft, and how much they like it. Yes, we have seen some characters from Minecraft and PC games. Yes, the rhymes were excellent. I was really surprised, and it made sense. I was really listening to the lyrics. It was understandable. The melody was very well balanced, I would say. And it wasn't an easy melody or easy... I think it was superb. I really liked it. My son is 7 and he plays Minecraft, so I've seen some characters from it. I think when you take something very seriously, maybe it doesn't work so much, but maybe it works better, and you can create something when you take it easy and have fun. I think it's fantastic that something like that can be created at the school, and that children who are 7 or 8 years old can create such videos. And in my next life, I would like to be born as a child in Iceland and attend school. Inge, last question for you. According to research, Iceland is one of the happiest countries in the world. What do you think? Why is Iceland one of the happiest countries of the world?
Hope you see this. Oh, I'm gonna move this. One of our new projects is this one here, Knock on the Door. We are trying to get our teenagers to read more, to learn Icelandic, and to gain larger vocabulary. And that's why we created this project here. We're still working on it, it's not finished. The idea is every student in 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grades are assigned books in their Icelandic classes that they need to read. And when they have finished, they can choose a method to submit their project. They can knock on a door, these are the doors, and they are painting, sculpture, music, cooking, creative writing, newsletter, costume making, podcast, and short film. I'll just show you how they knock on this. Say that you finished reading, and I say, okay, I read the book, and now I want to do short film. I push here, and it says, welcome. You have decided to make a short film about your books. That's you will need following. And they can just go through here and see everything that they need is there. It's like, I don't want to do short film. I want to go and I want to do podcast. And they go here, and it's the same. It's like very easy to go through, but they have all the information that they need here. We are still, it's not finished, but we have used this one and with great results. And let's see, if you go here, this is painting, this is newsletter, this is short film. This is, you can make a recipe, I forgot that, you can bake or make a dinner. And this is creative writing. You go here, and it leads you here all the way through. And this, you can choose many of things here. But I go back here, and I would like to show you a couple of things that maybe we did last time. And we did like a podcast last time. If maybe you can show us that. It is this one here. The boys read a book, And then they did a podcast about it, and it talked about what happened in the book.
Hæ, ég heiti Elsen. Frá með á mánudeginum, hendir í hlaða fyrir drengir í alheim. Þú vilt fylgjast með ferð Páls þegar hann siglir í áskorun með geðsjúkdóminn sinn.
Hei, ég heiti Tún. Klukkan 9 verður okkar hlaðvarpi sýnt og þú vilt alls ekki missa af þessu spennandi augnabliki.
Hæ, ég heiti Aris. Þáttum við krymjum og ræðum bókina Englar í alheimsins.
Góðan daginn og verið hjartanlega velkomin í þáttinn okkar Drengir í alheimnum. Ég heiti Aris og ég hér með
Ersen.
Tung. Í dag ætlum við að tala Englar alheimsins sem skáldsaga eftir Einar Má Guðmundsson. En byrjum að helstu fréttinar.
Við erum með vonda fréttir. Eftir að stjórnendur bönnuðu skóð þá bönnuðu eining nemendur að vera í sokkum.
Új.
Það viðbjóð.
Já, það bara Mér líst ekkert vel á það.
Nei, alls ekki.
Ég næ bara alltaf að tala það.
Ég hef ekki, ég vil ekki sjá tásur hjá
engum.
Bara helst hjá engum.
Bara engum. Sérstaklega gömlu fólki og tón.
Ale ak dovolíte, myslím si, že ako ukážka nám to stačí.
I think as a sample of podcast preparation it was enough. We will talk to Inga today about these interesting activities, about all this creativity and practical teaching at the school. I think it's so important, and I think that's the reason why people are so happy. What do you think? Why Iceland is one of the happiest countries in the world? Why are people in Iceland happy? Well, one thing is statistics and the other thing is reality, what really happens in reality. Well, we also prescribe a lot of antidepressives to people in Iceland, and also there are things such as winter time can be very difficult for people. Maybe this is something I do not know from the Czech Republic. During winter time, unfortunately, we sometimes lose our friends because they decide to end their life. So I'm not sure if Iceland is really such a happy country and nation, but on the other side, maybe there is high satisfaction with life. There is high quality of life in Iceland. For example, we can leave your stuff outside and nobody would steal them. Or your kid outside and nobody will hurt them. So maybe you have this feeling of satisfaction that we have trust in our society. So you let your daughters to sleep outside, outdoor. How did you get used to it? Well, if I leave her sleeping in the center when we go for a walk, it's a kind of attraction. People only see the baby pram and parents, they take pictures, but it's much better for kids to sleep outdoor. The air is much better in Iceland and it's much better for the kids than for parents. So what are the roots of satisfaction of life?
I would maybe just like to add that it's also about the approach of the government or of the society to the values such as family, relationship, and treatment of children. We spoke to Renata about this quite recently. The opportunities and the possibilities, alternatives, the flexibility that the employers offer to their employees, shorter work time, working hours. There is a tendency to shorten and reduce the working week. However, the work does not wait for us, but it gets finished. So
People are really, very accountable, very responsible. Yes, and sometimes it's actually even more efficient even if we speak or work shorter hours, but we tend to get things done. Yes, and I think we all know it from our own experience. And also unions are very strong. They, for example, provide vouchers for different gyms, swimming pools. So the overall well-being is being supported, is being taken care of, and that promotes the feeling of happiness. And also, maybe I would add to the Angels of the Universe, which was subject matter of the video played by Inge, which you didn't understand because it was in Icelandic. The book deals with basically frustration, but also the ways out. The author actually had a family history and family personal experience, but the book shows the entire society. The three boys from this institute go to the best restaurant in Reykjavik, being nicely dressed. They order the most expensive meal, and they eat it, and then they actually have the bill sent to this correction institution, or basically the mental health facility. And this basically mirrors how Icelandic society treats with people with different medical problems. That everyone has his or her value within the society and has his or her place within the society, and that helps, I believe. Thank you very much. I think we can go for hours talking about Iceland and all this, but I would like to thank Renata Emilsson-Pešková, Lucia Martinsdottir, Ingebjörg Stefansdóttir, and Branislav Bedi as our panelists. Thank you. Thank you for really very interesting insights. Definitely very intriguing for us from mainland Europe. And now let us move on to those who have gotten to know Iceland through a lens of a camera. So let's look at the outcomes of the work of the members of our Open Innovation Studio prepared by or within the framework of Studio 25 Iceland. So the first example, our aim in Iceland was to document the life and the country and the culture of Iceland. What was most intriguing for you in Iceland? Well, as everyone knows, Iceland has beautiful nature, and we were lucky enough to see it. And when Philip took us to the Black Beach, we actually were lucky enough to see the seal. And this was quite surprising because first we didn't even know whether we really, we didn't want to believe our eyes. But when we zoomed in, then we found out that these really were the seals. And it is not only about this beach, but it also goes for the crags or for the cliffs that we've seen. It's something completely different, something unusual that we don't get here. And as for the seals, we normally just see them in the zoo. But if you just see them out in the open, in the wild, then it's something quite special. And I think that I can speak for all that when we heard that this was the aurora or the northern lights, it was nothing really special. We expected more, but then when it grew in intensity, we really liked it, and it was almost surreal. How you as a group of people running around Iceland with cameras, how were you perceived by the locals? I think they just saw us as regular tourists, not as the filmmakers. So you spent 1 week in Iceland. Was it enough, or would you need more time? I think that you can always use more time for such an amazing country that Iceland is. But I believe that within the scope of the program that we went there to
fulfill. I think we've managed what we wanted to do, and maybe there will be some parts missing, but I hope not. And was there anything that you would like to bring back to Slovakia from Iceland? I think that, the cultivated and cultured way of life and professionalism, professional conduct, might be very inspirational for Slovakia, and also order, tidiness, and recycling. Was there a time when you needed to improvise in Iceland? I think that every day we had to improvise, more or less. However, we had very good leaders, Tomáš and Jan, who basically, worked with us and supervised our work. They were very welcoming. They always had an advice for us, and we also could experiment in terms of composition, angles, and so on. Would you like to go back to Iceland one day? Yes, definitely yes, because there are still many things that we haven't seen in Iceland, and it would be really interesting to see also these places. What would stick with you? What image would stick with you when you think back of your week in Iceland, like for life? I think nature. Nature is really like very iconic and very photogenic, and anything you can think of. This is something that you definitely going to remember. And the impression that the Icelandic nature has really stays with you. Yeah, amazing work. I saw the editing of this report, but I didn't see it together with the look, or I didn't see the final cut. And now we do have the actors and stakeholders: Ondrej Bátori, Hanna Vosíková, Jakub Gašpar, Koleta Kauková, Michal Ružička, Michal Steke, and Radko Varga. Hello.
Ondrej, začneme tebou. Ty si
Ondrej, let's start with you. You've met fascinating creatures in Iceland. Seals and whales that you've met. So what is your report going to be about? My experience was already mentioned in the report, but I believe that we went there to make a document, to shoot a document about Iceland, and to maybe make a report about particular people living in Iceland. And we also wanted to get to know the nature and the people there. So what is your report about? It's about Professor Inga, whom we've already seen, and it's mainly about their competition that they have, Prakur competition that happens annually, and it's like a musical drama play or competition for elementary school. Jacob, you were taken aback by the forests in Iceland, which are different to ours. So what did you do there, and what fascinated you the most in Iceland, and what is your report going to be about? My report is called Activities in Iceland, and I basically collected the material for a documentary, and I also collected information about the students' reports. And as I've mentioned, or as you've mentioned, the forests in Iceland are different because most of them have been planted by volunteers. They even have the forest of friendship, which is being planted. The trees are being planted continuously by the heads of state that come for an official visit to Iceland as a symbol of friendship and peace on earth. And I really like this actor. This is something that caught my attention. And each Icelandic president is also a protector of this forest. Is this going to feature in your report? No. My report will be on the Institute of Árni Magnússon, where Braňo works.
And in my report, Braňo will talk about this institute, and he will also talk about the exhibition located in this institute on culture and literature of Iceland. Koleta, you were taken aback by the cuisine. So what was it that you had a chance to taste that we don't have here? We visited a small restaurant in Arnasari, if I'm not mispronouncing it, and it's led by two grandmas, and we didn't know what to expect, and we basically had to wait a little bit, but we didn't mind because everywhere you looked around, there were paintings and a piano on the right and another piano on the left. And there were so many windows that if you looked out of them, you could just see the breathtaking nature. And I really like the fact that I asked about cuisine and you were talking about the restaurant, not the food. Okay, let's get to food then.
Priblížila by som to klievancom.
I would liken it, what we tasted, I would liken it to our pancakes. I expected them to be sweet, but they were savory, filled with eggs and ham. And we also had a lamb soup. And it really tasted like the best Sunday lunch made by your granny that you can imagine. And what is your report going to be about? It's about a 16-year-old boy named Magnus, who just had the premiere of his first film. Magnusa a rozprával si sa s ním, respektíve reportáž je zameraná práve na Magnusa. Tak aké to bolo tá tímová práca
Magnus?
So what was it like to work with him?
Ja mám reportáž zameranú skôr na Nordic House, ale mám s ním
my report is about Nordic House.
Oficiálneho večera po natáčaní. Sme sa boli tiež v jednej islandskej reštaurácii.
I have a story with him. At the end of one day, we went to one Icelandic restaurant, and what we could see was, what we experienced was an ice-breaking moment. We actually started teaching Magnus Slovak tongue twisters. Like what? Well, I don't know if I can pronounce it well. Pespí spia and trč which are famous Slovak tongue twisters without vowels. And also we taught him about how to pronounce it, and he was doing actually very well. Icelandic is difficult, but I believe he managed very, very well. And all of you actually went to
najnezabudnutelnejší islandský zážitok
the Northern Light. How was it? We only saw Northern Light. We went to see Northern Light twice. First time we were not successful, but then we saw it the second time, but more through the lenses of our display, but not with our own eyes. And it was something special because we normally do not get Northern Lights in Slovakia, so it was great. The best moment for me was when we landed and we went to see the sunrise next to Kirkefeld mountain, and we had a chance to see the sunrise. And for me, this was the moment, and I also took most of the pictures and made footage from this. When you said you had to get up early, what time was it? About 4:15. And your report, it's about Petla Skuli. Andre has the report on the professor, and I have the report on focusing on the students. I asked about
their life, about you know, about their everyday experience. And were you surprised by his by their answers? Not really. Actually, their take on life was very similar to ours in Slovakia, and I think that you know, many things are very similar when it comes to the young people. And for example, they play games online, they're on the social media, they're you know, doing sports, and you expected them to read every day from dusk till dawn and learning languages and running marathons and all that, right? Yes, that was what I expected. But when we spoke together, then we realized that they're just the same. They're just normal young people.
Radko, you were attracted by iconic black beach and wonderful countryside. So what were your impressions from Iceland and what your reportage will be about? Well, the Icelandic countryside is wonderful and you really feel so small. Everything was huge. The waves, the rocks, everything. And Black Beach was very interesting. There is a natural phenomenon that is called snaky waves. It's a wave that comes every 10 minutes and it floods majority of the beach. And usually the tourists are not prepared for that, and they may be covered by water. And unfortunately, sometimes it ends up tragically. Maros and myself experienced similar experience. We were filming the waves, and we somehow forget how strong and dangerous these waves could be. So at certain moment you are doing your filming, everything is okay, everything is prepared for Instagram, and suddenly the wave is approaching very quickly, so we had to start to run away. Did you get wet? No, I managed to take a picture. Yes, it is so important to take pictures for the Instagram. Hanka, you were working on the radio production. What were your tasks in Iceland, and what was your most intensive experience in Iceland? Well, I was able to try to work with a microphone, which was new, quite a new activity for me. I think for all of us it was a new experience, new opportunity. We had to realize that people who will be listening to us will not see all the beauties and wonderful rocks. So we realized we will have to describe everything in details to help the listeners to imagine it. So we prepared a couple of radio reportage, and we will have some outputs from I remember one experience that I did not expect. We had a chance to go to the all-year-round swimming pools. We went to hot baths, to hot tubs, and the guy, the safeguard, was walking around us, dressed in bomber jacket while we were bathing and enjoying the water. So it was very pleasant to be diving in hot water, and there was only rain falling on our heads. So it was kind of relaxation for you. Yes, it was. So it was not only about the work, but also about some leisure time. So how did you organize your work? Did majority of you concentrated on the video production? Yes, we did, but we were also given the possibility to try to do something else. So we tried the radio reportage, for example. So Hanka Lozdíková focused also on the sound, not only on the picture. And now let me show you the excerpt from her radio reportage, and there will be also some illustration shots to help you to have a pleasant experience and to listen to the sound and see the picture at the same time. We are now at the airport in Reykjavik, and this is our last day in Iceland, so there is a lot of traveling ahead of us. And now I would like to ask the participants about their impressions. Andre, could you summarize briefly how was your stay in Iceland? Well, we spent 10 days in Iceland. These days were amazing. We traveled a lot. We learned a lot about Iceland, its culture, behavior. We learned a lot about how people live in this country. And I would like to recommend to other people if they had such opportunity to use it and to come to Iceland. Now I would like to ask Jakub. Jakub, what was your most impressive experience after 10 days in Iceland? Well, I will remember all trips to the countryside, to the ocean, to the beach or to the cliffs. The nature in Iceland is really wonderful and very specific. So it resonated with me, and I will keep my memories for a long time. I will keep it in my memories for a long time. And what about you, Colette? What was your impression? Well, this is unforgettable experience. It is also very inspiring, and I'm looking forward to come back home because I will be able to create a lot from this inspiration. The nature, the people are amazing and unforgettable. Another participant of our trip to Iceland was Michal, and I would like to ask Michal about his feelings. And Michal, could you summarize these 9 days in Iceland? Well, these 9 days were really amazing. It was a very different experience. When we went to Reykjavik, it was a tourist city. And the nature was amazing, the waterfalls, the cliffs. It was really breathtaking, and I'm looking forward to process all the material that I filmed. So these 10 days in Iceland were very intensive. Whole organizing team and the lecturers took wonderful care of us. We really didn't have to deal with anything. All the transportation was perfectly organized. Everything was arranged, so we really received everything served on a golden tray. And I would like to thank for it. My experience, my feeling is really very good. It was a wonderful stay. We could spend time in a wonderful nature, and at the same time we were able to create prepare our films. I would wish everyone to be able to experience this Icelandic nature. Well, I would love to go to Iceland immediately. I would love to get to know the nature of this city. So we have seen wonderful documentaries. I think Studio 25 Iceland really has its sense and meaning. And here we have nearly professionals, I think another trip or 2, and you will be ready to create documentaries as professionals. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. And now we will break for 15 minutes. During this 15 minutes break, you will be able to watch students' reportages, and we will be come back in 15 minutes and start with the second block of our event.
I ended up seeing an opportunity to study medicine in Slovakia, and I was very interested to go study in Slovakia. So I moved to Martin and studied medicine in Jesenius Faculty of Medicine in Martin. Great school and best years of my life, really nice. Learned the Slovak culture, Slovak language, and I also started my career as an artist. The lifestyle of teaching obviously is totally different than being a doctor. It's a lot working in the night, but I mean, if you balance your life, like think about sleep, you exercise, and you're like eating properly, I think it's all about balance, you know. After I became a doctor, I started to use this story and tell about this concept, the chair of life. It's like a chair with 4 legs, so like exercising, eating properly, sleep, and mental health. And you kind of like have to keep these 4 legs in balance, right? So if you break one, you're gonna fall. So, you know, like I said, I'm not 100%, but I'm always checking myself. Like, okay, I'm eating okay. I'm gonna train today. Okay, I gotta sleep early today. And how am I feeling? You'll soon reflect upon these problems and to me, it works really well because I think everybody should have a hobby on the side. And to me, when I was studying medicine and now when I'm working as a doctor, I always look to the music because it really it's a calming thing, creative thing. So it's really good for people that are working in something that takes a lot of headspace, like doctor or whatever it is, to have something creative. During my studies, like in second year, third year, like Martin and Slovakia started to feel like home. So when I came to Iceland for summer vacation or Christmas, when I came back to Martin, it was like, I'm back home. I would recommend everyone to, I always tell this to my uncles and you know, nieces, and I tell them like, move abroad. Like I moved to Slovakia. You really you learn completely new things, new culture, new language. I tell everyone to move to Slovakia. Ahoj, volám sa Viktor, Težima a milujem Slovakia.
Na Island som sa dostal v roku 2015.
I arrived at Iceland in 2015, and it was by chance. I had a small travel agency in Panama where I was living for 2 years, and a friend who was a professional hockey player in Iceland contacting me, telling about the beautiful nature and beautiful weather there. And I just thought it was ridiculous because I was living in the tropical island drinking pina colada, and he was having an ice cream in -25, so it made me laugh. But the more he kept writing, the more he kept sending pictures, and the more I researched about Iceland, I found out that it was not only a very interesting destination, but also that there is a huge potential for tourism. Your life is closely connected and linked with gastronomy. So what was surprising for you when it comes to the Icelandic cuisine? I like the fusion that they do. Like they have sushi pizza, which was at the beginning it seemed funny. They were deep frying the maki, and I like the way that they managed to adapt their traditional Icelandic cuisine and give it a new twist. And you know, because of the lot of migrants, you can feel the influence of basically any cuisine in the world. It's very diverse, and the biggest difference between Slovak and Icelandic culture definitely lies in human rights and equality and equity, and also the fact that they do not have such contrast between social classes or social strata. They have a very strong middle class and not a big difference between the higher class and lower class. I arrived as a 25-year-old boy and I left as a 32-year-old man, and it was really a formative experience. And I've lived in many countries. I traveled a lot, but it was Iceland that changed my perspective on life, on everything, starting from cuisine and food to nature. I became more environmentally minded, and you know, I started paying attention to details. Yeah, you know, I carried a piece of Iceland in my heart, and I opened up a small vegan bistro. I have a lot of concrete and some wood and glass and plants, so it's the Icelandic influence. And we try to serve the customers and make them feel better. And I believe that even a short stay in Iceland is a formative experience for everyone because it gives us something, and it depends on what we take from it. Everyone should be traveling, and not only going to the most popular destinations where it is cheap and warm, but go to Georgia, go to Iceland, go to Morocco. You can find something everywhere.
Za skutočne poriadnou náložou kreativity a dlhých hodín strávených za kamerami stojí skupina mladých a talentovaných ľudí.
A group of young, talented group of people working under the scope or within the scope of Iceland 25. They traveled to Iceland and they carried out a lot of experience with them. I don't know if I should be personal, but when we spent the 10 days in Iceland and I got accustomed to a certain regime every day, getting up, going to shoot, a lot of traveling. We always had some program, and then we got back home, and because I'm alone, all my friends are in Košice and I'm in Nitra. I was just feeling, why did I come back? My name is Kola Takauko, and I felt nostalgic as soon as I got in a taxi from the airport. And when I looked around myself and realized that I'm coming back to my everyday life after spending 9 days in such a beautiful country that it's not very good. My name is Michal Suka. I have amazing experience from Iceland that will last for a lifetime. The friendships with the people I met there, the panoramic views of the cliffs, these are something that I will never forget.
Pre slovenskú televíziu Beata Fulopová.
I would like to ask you, can you remember some funny moment from Iceland?
Áno, máme jeden taký tipný moment.
Yes, we do have a moment that stuck with us.
Pretože sme boli z tých pohľadov až tak nadšení, že v podstate už čokoľvek sme videli v tom
we were so enthusiastic about everything, and especially about the seals, so that every other animal that we saw we thought it was something special, and so we went to the cracks with Philip Rebenda, to the cliff, and I asked him, I saw something in the distance, something was moving, I didn't know what it was. It was almost as if the waves were sort of too big. So the first idea that came to my mind was, maybe it's a whale. Right. Are we that lucky? Are we seeing whales? So I called everyone, come on and look, I think there is a whale there. And so I called all the cameramen and everyone to come and see. And at the end we found out, when we zoomed in, that it wasn't a whale, it wasn't even an animal, but it was just stones that were located further away from the island. So we almost created the mass hysteria when everyone believed something that I just thought I saw.
So thank you.
Ďakujem. Ako vidíte, ja nie som zatiaľ študent, už 10 rokov nie som študent. A ako ste už počuli, som krajný fotograf zo Slovenska a bol som ním vlastne 10 rokov. A musím povedať, že dnes som tu videl mnoho mladých tvorivých ľudí a to ma neprekvapuje, pretože Island je nádherná krajina a máte veľké šťastie, že tu bývate, že tu žijete a že máte šancu každý deň vlastne nechať sa takto inšpirovať svojou krajinou a svojim nádherným okolím. Chcem hovoriť o dvoch z mojich fotiek, pretože som naozaj veľmi šťastný, že som vlastne môžem cestovať po Európe už 10 rokov a teraz už aj organizujem fototurné pre mnohých fotografov aj tu na Islande a ukazujem im krásu vašej krajiny. Je skvelé vidieť to každý deň. A chcem hovoriť o dvoch z mojich snímok. Prvá je táto, ako vidíte, bola urobená z roku 2021. Je niečo, čo možno, že nastane aj zajtra. Teda je to výbuch sopky, erupcia sopky. A je to pre mňa naozaj, bol to môj prvý dotyk so sopkou a bolo to neuveriteľné. V podstate bavíme sa o čase covidu, keď jednoducho sa veľmi ťažko vôbec vycestovalo zo Slovenska a ja som vlastne dokázal som pricestovať, aj keď som musela absolvovať karanténu v Reykjavíku a druhý deň vlastne táto fotka vznikla druhý deň po erupcii a nazval som to vlastne zrod ohňa alebo zrodený v ohni a je to jedna z mojich najúspešnejších fotiek. Almost every important media in the world. It was exhibited really over the world, from New York, Tokyo, Budapest to Asian countries, and because it's really beautiful. And it's not about me. Again, it's about your country, your beautiful country, and beautiful opportunities you have to capture every day. And I'm always really thankful to be here and have chance to capture something like this. Second photo I want to show you is aurora. It's something you can see almost every night. We are really excited to see it once per year, but when you are outside and you see aurora, and I ask some of Icelandic people, aurora, okay, something normal here maybe, but for us it's always really beautiful, and we are so excited. So this was really beautiful situation because I led photo tour here with 10 clients, and we were really tired after the 1 week without sleep because it was really long photo tour, and we took a little rest on the east of Iceland. This is Eystrahorn mountain. Maybe you know it well because it's really close to most famous mountain here in Iceland. It's Eystrahorn. So it's just a 30 minutes drive from there. And it was a surprise because it was late April and it's not usual to show aurora at late April. It was maybe last one of the aurora season in 2022. And I tried to capture it. And this is also one of my famous photos because it won many competitions, many awards. And now it's exhibited in Royal Museum in Greenwich, London. And I just want to tell you again and again, I'm really thankful to have opportunity to travel here in Iceland because, Slovakia is also beautiful, but we don't have volcanoes, we don't have northern lights, and see it every time here is really beautiful for me. So I just want to say, never forget about beauty of your country. Try to explore it as much as possible because it's possibility to be inspired, and you are creative people, and I hope you will stay here and you will explore it more and more and show the world how beautiful Iceland is. So this is what I wanted to say to you. So thank you.
Okrem študentov sme počúvali aj Filipa Hrebendu.
So we were listening to Filip Hrebenda, an amazing photographer. I'm happy we could welcome him to here in Košice. Filip makes wonderful photographs not only from Ireland. Welcome back after our break, and here we come to the second part of our workshop that will be more interactive. Lucia Martinsdottir now will take us through a short sample of breathing exercise, and this exercise is suitable not only for the athletes but for all of us.
Poprosím na mikrofón.
Tak já budu mít takovou krátkou prezentaci, no.
So let me present something shortly. Maybe it is not our topic, but this is something you can use at any time. If you do, or if we do some sport, or if we do some sport, we are trying to keep our mental health under control, especially during the competition. Very often we face the situation that we present something, or we need to speak in front of the public, or we need to perform as athletes. There are situations when we may be nervous and we are losing control of our feelings. And how to get this control back? There is a simple thing, and it's the pattern of our breathing. So when you face a situation that you are nervous, you may feel your breath here on the chest. You may feel that your breathing is shallow and fast, and you breathe mostly into your chest, and your breath is very short, and you inhale by your mouth. And now you need to calm down. You need to present something. You need to prepare a reportage, or you need to run 100 meters. So what can help? You just need to change the breathing pattern. So we can try how to change the breathing pattern and how to calm down. So instead of inhaling into the chest, please put your hand on your belly and try to inhale by nose. So we will inhale very slowly by nose. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once more, inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can you feel relaxation? Can you feel that you are calmer? Well, this is an exercise that you can use in a stressful situation, in a situation when you need to calm down. Or in the opposite way, if you need to speed up, you can breathe faster and exhale faster. So if you need energy, if you need fight or flight reaction, breathe by your mouth like this. This is something that we athletes do. I'm a very calm person, and sometimes I need to energize myself. So I have to do this breathing pattern. I need to energize myself. So you can use it for different situations. And I would like to share one thing. It really works. The breath is connected with the brain and our mental state. For example, the breathing that women are learning in the courses for pregnant women. So it's an important part of the preparation of future mummies. Yeah, we do something like that in Slovakia as well. So this breathing, you can use it in yoga, in sport, in meditation, during a baby birth, when you feel anxious, when you need to get back the control of emotions. So you can calm down by breathing, or you can energize yourself via breathing. Thank you very much for your short lecture. I think all of us can use it very often. We need to present something, we need to talk in front of the audience, so sometimes we need to calm down, or for example, when we do the sport and where we compete, we need to energize ourselves. And now, let's go back to the topic that is very important for our initiative, utilization of audio-visual creation as a part of school education system. So we were in connection with Inga Björk-Stefansdottir from Vetla Skola in Reykjavik. We had some technical issue when we introduced Inga. She thought she could start her presentation, but we didn't hear it. Now, if you need translation, you can scan QR code and listen to it via headphones. So now Inga is connected. So let's go back to the questions. How was the idea of this artistic manager created at Vetla Skola in Reykjavik? How did this idea come into being to have such a function of artistic or art director at Vetla Skola?
Well, the principal of Vetla Skola, and later with the participation of the assistant principal, had for some time drawn the attention of the heads of the school and leisure department to the unique nature of the school. Due to the composition of the students group, the school leaders believed that the school needed more support, more funding, and more action. In 2019, coordination began between the principal and the assistant principal with the head of the school and leisure department. Many ideas were discussed, but the conversation quickly focused on 3 pillar approaches, like literacy, music, and guidance-based learning. The goal was for all students to have the opportunity to make their dreams come true. The project was set to last for 5 years. The city allocated 15 million to hire 3 project managers. In addition to the school receiving permission to hire a speech therapist. So that's when I came 5 years ago. Does that answer the question?
My sme videli aj tú audiovizuálnu tvorbu a
we have seen the audiovisual creation and how the students are educated in art. So what is the impact of artistic education of your pupils?
What is the impact on them? Do I see any difference or after the 5 years? Yes, I do. I would love to show you a video as well. It is about there's 2 girls that came to our school and they had what you call the school avoidance. They didn't feel well in the last school that they were in, and they came to us and they kind of jumped straight into the idea of into our studio. We have a music studio, and one of the girls, she understands Icelandic perfectly. She's from Poland. She understands Icelandic perfectly, but she does not want to speak it. And so I said, okay, let's try another approach, because she loves to sing. She loves to sing adult songs. So I said, if you sing the song and I will translate it to Icelandic, or we translate it together, would you sing it? And she says yes. Now she's singing in Icelandic, and she will hopefully speak it when she's ready, talk it, but she understands completely. And another, we have like boys in our school, 2 boys that started 4 years ago playing the instrument. There's a lot of difference when they are in class. They're much calmer. They go out of class and go for a lesson with the music teacher and then come back in. And all the teachers just talk about how calm they are and focused after they started playing the instrument.
My sme videli dnes už časť vašej prezentácie.
Today we have seen part of your presentation. Is there anything else in your presentation that you would like to present or to show to us?
I would love to, I know he has the video. I would love to show you Susanna and Luis singing a song, the Adele song, and they're in Icelandic, and you can just, this is like every day in Fellaskóli, singing and laughing. I think the kids are relaxed and they enjoy the different ways we're trying to teach Icelandic. And this is an example of one of them. I hope you have the video.
Ég stengi stolt, ákveðin og horfi út á mannfólkið, sorgmætt að byggjum frið. Hér stend ég stolt, ber höfuð hátt og gesti upp, hróp og kalla á alla þá sem neita opna augu og sjá. Heimur grætur, heimur biður, bænum að hér loksins náist friður. Heimur grætur, heimur biður, bænum að hér loksins náist friður, bænum frið, bænum frið. Nú tími kominn að lífi verð betra hér. Hrekjum dimma daga burt, því þetta svo dapurt. Við viljum ró, það löngu komið nóg. Heimur grætur, heimur biður, bænum að hér loksins náist friður. Heimur grætur, heimur biður, bænum að hér loksins náist friður, bænum frið.
Myslím, že mnohí sme spoznali, že je to skladba Adele, takže takto by znela
Well, I think all of us, it was sung by Adele in Icelandic language. According to the research, Iceland is one of the happiest countries in the world, Inga. What do you think? Why is it so?
Why are we so happy? Oh, I don't know. We have this saying in Iceland, breakfast. It is because I tend to jump in the pool and just go for it, not analyze things too much. I think if I had analyzed everything that we did for the last 5 years, like how at beginning and end, I wouldn't have started many of the projects, but we just started them, and many of them worked, many of them didn't, but you just need to go for it.
Ďakujeme veľmi pekne za tieto informácie aj praktické
Thank
ukážky,
you
ako to
very
vlastne
much for all
funguje
your
na škole
information,
v Reykjavíku,
for
Fetla
showing
školy.
us
A máme
how
tu ešte
Fetla
priestor na
School is
vaše
working,
otázky,
and
ak by
now
ste
we
sa
have
chceli
some
niečo
space
dozvedieť
for
v
your
rámci tejto školy
questions.
alebo
If you would like
v
to know
rámci
more about
rozhovoru s
this
Ingou, tak
school,
teraz je čas
or if you
opýtať
have
sa.
some
Ak
questions
máte
for
otázku, tak nech sa páči,
Inga,
nebojte sa,
now
môžete
is
vyhnúť ruku
the
hore, alebo
time to
teoreticky
ask
možno
your
online
question.
máme nejakú otázku, ale to nám povedia
You
zrejme.
also can ask online.
Ak nemáte žiadne otázky, tak my sa posunieme
If there are no
ďalej
questions,
a veľmi
let's
pekne
move
ďakujeme
further. I would like
Inge
to
za tieto
thank
informácie.
to Inga for
Björk
the
Stefansdottir, ktorá
information.
bola s nami
Inga Björk
online pripojená.
Stefansdottir, who was connected online. Thank you very much.
A teraz prichádzajú na náš stage opäť experti na
Now
islandský
we
jazyk
have
Branislav
experts in
Bedi a
Icelandic
Renata
language
Emilsson
coming to
Pešková
our
a
stage,
predstavia
Branislav
nám
Bedi
unikátnu
and
brožúrku o
Renata
výučbe
Emilsson
islandštiny
Peškova, and they will
prostredníctvom
present
5 zmyslov,
handbook
ktorú
of
ste všetci
Icelandic
dostali aj pri
language,
vstupe. Tak
learning
poďme sa pozrieť, že ako sa dá
Icelandic
jazyk
language
uchopiť
through
naozaj
5
všetkými zmyslami
senses.
a
So
budeme
how
musieť
can we
trošku
grasp
pomalšie rozprávať, keďže
language
ideme tak
by
tlmočené
5
aj v angličtine
senses?
a sa to
And
všetko
maybe
prekladá,
we
takže aj vás
to
takto
talk a little
upozorňujem
bit
na to, že
slower
pomalšie musíme
because
vysvetľovať.
everything is interpreted into Slovak
Ďakujem veľmi
and
pekne.
English
Tak, Firir.
language. So thank you very much.
Začíname
Tak,
tým pádom hneď
Firir.
islandsky. Takže Godan Dag, dobrý deň.
Godan Dank, good
Je hej ty
morning.
Branislav.
Hey, ty,
Volám sa
Branislav. My name is Branislav.
Chceme vám tak predstaviť trošku
So we
prakticky
would
túto
like
príručku, ktorá vlastne
to
novo vytvorená. Je to taký
show you this
experiment
handbook. It's
na
a kind
vyučovanie
of
islandského jazyka pre
experiment for
samoukol.
teaching of Icelandic
Hlavne
language.
vymyslená pre Slovákov, pre vás, všetkých divákov.
It was mainly
v sále a
prepared
takisto
for
online.
you,
Ale
for the
predtým, ako sa
Slovaks,
k nej
either here in the
dostaneme, k
room
tým
or
5 zmyslom
online. But before we get to
pri
the 5
vyučovaní
senses
cudzieho
that
jazyka,
we
tak nám
employ
Renata
when
niečo
teaching
ešte
a foreign
predstaví.
language, Renata will tell
Já
us
bych
something
poprosila
more.
ty slajdy,
So
které
if I
vám
can
budeme
have the
ukazovat a
slides
chtěla
that we
bych
will
vás
show
poprosit,
you, I will
abyste si ta
like to
jednotlivá
ask you to
slova zkoušeli říkat.
maybe
Nemusíte na
try
ně křiknout, ale tak pro
pronouncing
sebe
the
si je
words
zkusit říct.
for yourselves. You don't need to
A
shout
ta
them
naše
out, but
pedagogika
you
vlastně
can just
souvisí
try to
s tím, že když
pronounce them,
používáme
trying to
víc
say them.
smyslů, tak
Because
se
our
lépe
approach
učíme
resides in
a
the
víc
fact
si
that if we
zapamatujeme.
use a
To znamená, když se
multisensory
učíme
approach,
pouze
we
vizuálně,
learn
tak
better,
si
we remember
zapamatujeme
better.
méně,
So
než
only
když se
if we
učíme
only
vizuálně a zároveň
use our
slyšíme.
eyes or
A když k
vision,
tomu ještě přidáme
we
vůně
remember less
a
than
chutě
when we
a
use our
prožitky,
vision and our
tak
hearing,
si
or
člověk
even if
zapamatuje a
we
vybavuje
add
lépe.
taste or tactile
Je v
experience.
Íslensku, to je název té knihy.
The name of
Poprosím
the
dál.
book is Ifila into Icelandsku.
Tohle je vtip
I
z Facebooku,
like
jak
Icelandic.
zní
This is
islandština
the
pro lidi, kteří ji neznají. Goldan
this
tajin
is a joke
může znít i
from
poměrně
Facebook.
hrozivě.
What an Icelandic language can sound like you when dying. It might either sound very threatening,
Jakože pojďme
go on
umřít.
dying,
A prosím další.
let's die.
Tady je pro lidi, kteří na Islandu nebyli,
Here
aby
we
viděli,
have
kde ten
something
Island je.
for
A hned
the people who
půjdeme
have never
dále.
been to Iceland, just to know where it's
Vy znáte
located.
slovo víkingar.
And you
Vikingové,
know the
to
word
si můžete hned
Vikingar,
říkat všichni.
Viking.
Víkingar.
You can
A tady jsou ty
pronounce
cestičky,
that
kudy
word.
oni cestovali po
And
řekách a tak
here,
různě
basically, you have the routes
tamtud
that the
odváželi různá
Vikings have
bohatství,
taken
otroky,
to
manželky a podobně.
take
A prosím dál.
treasures and slaves
Tady je
and
několik
wives.
map Islandu, tady je vidět
Here are some of the maps of Iceland
ledovce
with the
a tamhle
tectonic
taková jednoduchá turistická
plates
mapa, že lze objet
with
Island za jeden den,
icebergs
ale
and
to
a
byste
very
ho
simple map
moc
for
neviděli,
tourists.
jenom byste vlastně
You
ho
can actually
objeli.
travel around Iceland in a
dále.
day, but you wouldn't really see
Tady vidíte,
it.
že Eastlandska
Here you can see Eastland,
severský jazyk,
or
proto germánský
Eastlandska
jazyk se
is
rozvíjel a islandština je
Eastern
jedním z těch
language,
germánských
it's a
jazyků,
Germanic
které jsou v
language, so
současné
you can
době v
see the
Evropě.
language tree of the
Dále.
Germanic languages that are currently being
Tady jenom
spoken in
zajímavost
Europe,
Eastlandsk,
and here you can see Eastland,
nemáme taková
Eftirnuf,
klasická příjmení,
so the
ale
surname.
jmenujeme se podle otce,
We
takže když
do
je
not
otec
have the
Stefan
traditional
Gunnarsson,
surnames, but
tak
we
jeho
always
syn
take
Robert
the
se jmenuje Stefansson
father from the name from the father. So if you have Stefan Islandsson, then his son would be Robert Stefansson, and the daughter would be Harpa Stefansdottir, which is the son and daughter. Or Harpa Stefansdottir, so it's the daughter of a Harpa and Stephen. Here you can see some celebrities. Vigdis Finnbogadóttir, who was the first woman to become a president in the world, Björk Gudmundsdóttir, and Arnór Indridason, the author of the detective stories and thrillers that is much translated also into Czech and Slovak languages. This is the Icelandic alphabet, and you can see a number of letters that differ from the Slovak or Czech alphabet, and it's J, F, and the last three letters, I, that's the end of the Icelandic, and the sounds are similar to German or English, so you might know them from other languages. And now, just very quickly, this is a picture from our airport that you see there for a long time, and it actually starts teaching Icelandic to the foreign visitors. The Icelandic Lundi welcomes you, and this is one of the typical animals. And Hrein, here in the studio, you had a chance to feel the stones or the pieces of the lava.
Teď bude následovat několik takovýchhle obrázků a já budu jenom číst ta slova, která budou nahoře a vy si je můžete
now I would just like to read we have a series of sequence of pictures, and I'm just going to read the words above. Blaua Lónið.
Zkuste si to, budete si to líp pamatovat.
Try it. You will remember it better.
Reykjavík. Hallgrímskirkja. Þingvellir. Gullfoss. Geysir. Hundur. Hundar. A to je množné číslo.
That's plural. Singular is hundur, plural is hundar. Kindur.
Lamp.
Lump.
Množné číslo.
So the plural is lump.
Reindeer. Skip.
And skip.
A tady vidíte tu podobnost s angličtinou, ale není to, že by si islandština počila slovo z angličtiny,
but it's not basically the long word. It's not that Icelandic takes after English, but the other way around. And now some phrases. So I'm going to read it in Icelandic, and Branja will translate. So hi. Hello.
Volám sa Renata.
My name is Renata. What's your name?
Tak.
Thank you.
Jau.
Áno.
Yes.
Nie.
No.
Čo?
What?
Ja.
Takže.
Bless.
Ciao.
Tak a můžeme dál.
Bye.
To byl takový dialog v podstatě.
So this was almost like a dialogue. And this is a very culturally specific thing. Isbiltur
se skládá vlastně ze
ice cream. It basically is a composition of three words. Ice, car, and the road. So basically, we sometimes eat our ice cream in the car, but sometimes someone actually eats ice cream while someone else is driving, or we travel to specifically to buy ice cream. Thank you, Renata, for the introduction to Icelandic and maybe vocabulary. Now let's look at the 5 senses that we can employ
že dotyky sa používajú v zdravoch, odstravoch napríklad. Potom máme ďalší dotyk neskôr, ešte neprehadzujeme slajdy, necháme ten tu, ale si len spomeniem, že ďalším dotykom je čuch. Cez čuch spoznávame veci,
that we use to get to know things and we learn new vocabulary. Then we have taste that also helps us familiarize ourselves with new tastes, with food and so on. And then we also use our sight to see the colors and many things. And we use our hearing to detect the sounds and to help us remember the words. And now as we have the pictures, and I would like to ask the students involved in the project who acted as the illustrators, Maroš Ružička and Jakub Gašpar, for their illustration. I would now like to ask you to give yourself high five.
High five. To je taký pozdrav, taký dotyk.
So this is a touch.
Na online, čo máme divákov, ak majú možnosť
maybe also those watching us online can high five someone or give the mere high five. So they use high five. Then we have another picture. This is the dialogue. So Renata, can you help me, please, with reading this? So I'm going to ask her and then we can read together what we see.
Hvað segirðu?
Nei, hæ, hvað segirðu?
Hvað segir kallinn?
Nei, hvað segir kallinn? Hey, hvað segirðu? So, hey, how are you? I haven't seen you for a long time. The answer is, hello, how is it going? Or, hi, hello, how are you? So this is how we structured our course book. So you can see if you're shaking someone's hand, we show how it is formally, informally, using our touch or tactile experience, and we can basically practice Icelandic. Nei, hæ, hvað segirðu? Can you try it? Can you say it? Nei, hæ, hvað segirðu? Hi, haven't seen you for ages.
Ďalší obrázok, poprosím.
Now the next.
Tu nám máme rozdelenie
Here you
osobných
can
zámien.
see the division of personal pronouns,
en a ono.
which is he,
Po islandsky sa povie
she,
on,
and it.
han.
So he is han.
Zopakujeme, han.
In Icelandic, can you repeat it, please?
Ona sa povie hún,
She
zopakujeme.
is hun.
En sa povie haun,
N is
zopakujeme.
haun.
Haun. A ono sa povie
Or
fad.
it is called sad.
Tu ako Renata spomínala tú abecedu.
As Renata has mentioned, there are specific sounds and specific letters in Icelandic alphabet. We know them from English, but also from some Spanish dialects or from Greek, th and the. So sad. So I'm going to read out the sentences to you using the pronouns. So when we see a man, a male, we say Lesadur, what say? But when we see a woman, we say blessud.
Čiže tam je ten rozdiel blesadur, muž.
Blesadur, blessud. So you can see the difference already in the verb. And blessad is for the neutrum.
Takže tam vidíme určitú gramatiku.
So we have masculine, feminine, and neutrum. This is how we go about the grammar. Also, you can see that we are using our touch because we're basically shaking each other's hands. The next slide shows you the pictures where you can practice the personal pronouns. You can either stand up or remain seating, and I'm going to read out the word yeh. Can you repeat this, please? That means this is me. Thu. You.
Ukážeme všetci dokopy.
So yeh is I. Thu is you.
Ukážeme na niekoho.
And when we point to someone else, it's Han, the boy, or he, him. If it's a girl, it's hun.
Na niekoho, ktorý je haun, ak
and if we point at someone who we don't know, it's haun.
Na nejakú vec, to.
And if we want to point to an object, it's ta. It's it.
My sme við.
With
Zopakujeme
us
with.
or we.
Vy znamená thiv.
You are then
Zopakujeme thiv.
thiv.
Oni, mužský rod,
They,
sú their.
in masculine, their. So if it's men, male.
Oni, ženský rod, sú
they
thair.
is female, it's
Čiže
thair.
thair. Zopakujeme.
Thair.
Všetci, aj mužský, aj ženský, dokopy sú
they, if it's both males and females, it's fail.
Takisto nebinárny alebo neutrálny
and
rod
if we want to address someone who is non-binary, then it's they. That includes males and females or non-binary.
A tu nás sa dostávame teda
the next picture
chuti a tí, ktorí boli na Islande, a tí, ktorí neboli,
those of you who have been to Iceland or even someone else can actually taste shark meat, which is fermented. It's easily digestible, but it smells not very well. It's actually, it smells because it contains ammonia and it doesn't smell very well. So it's haul kar. However, if you taste it, you will definitely also smell it. So it's already the employment of two cells. Haul kar lektar itla means the shark is smelling.
Máme prepis, takže môžeme si pomáhať, ale zase keď niečo nám vonia, napríklad jedlo,
but if something smells nice, for example, there's a food that smells very tasty, maturin liktar veid.
Ďakujem. Ďalší obrázok.
The next
máme
picture.
Tu na sušenú rybu.
Now we have dried fish. And those of you in the studio, you've already had a taste. Lichtarvel depends on whether you tasted it or not. Maybe some of you didn't even like the smell because it really has a very distinctive smell. In Icelandic, we say basically dried fish means hard, so that the dry means also hard fish. Sportsmen like it because it's basically just a pure protein.
A tu nám máme takú hru, neviem, či takto na diaľku, ale napríklad máme tam očíslované slovíčka, slovnú zásobu, prečítame si to. Jednotka je hard fiskur, zopakujeme.
Hard fiskur, dried fish.
Dvojka je haukart, zopakujeme. Haukart. Trojka je smjör,
then smjör.
Štvorka je
skir. Did you just repeat it, please, after me? Skir.
Peťka je mísa.
Mísa.
Šestka je lakris.
Lakris.
Sedmička flatka.
Flatka.
Osmička klejna.
And claim.
A teraz ale nevieme, čo je čo.
But we don't know what is what. We already know what for is. It's skir. It's like coffee cheese or yogurt.
Hartfiskur.
Where would you put it?
Tam dole, vlastne jednotka je úplne dole v rohu.
Down to the bottom.
Haukart, žralok,
Haukart,
forme
or the shark, where can you find it?
Misky,
it's basically in the bowl.
Tam sme umiestnili k tej miske, ako dvojku, trojku dáme smjör, to je asi očividné, kde sa nachádza smjör, maslo.
Butter.
Mísa,
I think that's clear.
To je zase očividné, ako mísa je v tom kartóne na mlieko, ako keby, ale to je strátka.
It's basically whey.
Lakris, akú formu môže mať lakris? Rozpoznávame,
áno, dvojka od vrchu na ľavo. What is it? It's second from the top on the left-hand side. It's the licorice. Flatkaka, where would you put it?
Presne tak.
Bottom left,
and
then it's kleina, which is a donut, but it's different. It's typical Icelandic, but it's deep fried. It's top left. So now we've basically repeated our vocabulary when it comes to taste. And what do we have here? Num num. So something very tasty. So it's the onomatopoeia, the num num, but it also means a treat. Namitagur means usually Saturdays when we have treats and we buy sweet treats and we all like it and we all do it on Saturdays. For example, we eat licorice. But here at the picture, some people like sour or pickled gherkin. So someone says num num, so gherkin. And I believe everyone knows what the pickled gherkins taste like, and it's basically inside certain taste. So gurka is one, gurkur means plural, but you can find it in this course book that you can download from the Iceland Studio 25 Iceland website. So you can try num num, which is the onomatopoeia. Num.
Takže prečítame si iba vety, máme tam prepis.
So let's read out sentences. We have transcription and then we can repeat it. Sechta sur gurka, tahta sur gurka. Repeat after me. The second line, sura gurkam gold. Repeat.
Potom máme tretiu vetu.
And then we have the third sentence. Pechta surar gurkur. Pechta surar gurkur.
A potom máme súru
And
gurkurnar.
below we have suru gurkurnar eru godar. Thank you very much. So I hope that you liked the pickles, and let's change the slide, and here we have
obrázok a pocit, ktorý nám vyvoláva tento obrázok, je čo?
something connected to the vision and colors.
Vraciame naspäť do Reykjaviku.
So we will now return to Reykjavik. There is a street in Reykjavik. It is called Rainbow Street. Originally, the name of this street was different. So it's a phrase that says that this street is a rainbow street in Reykjavik, and we can read it in Icelandic. Stola burtu stiger rek bogatata Reykjavik. It's quite long. So let's try it together. Sola red Olga Kava Reykjavikur. So this is a sentence. It means Rainbow Street in Reykjavik. And on the next slide we have colors. Rejdur means red. Second is orange. Appelsinugulur, repeat after me. Appelsinugulur. The third is yellow, repeat after me. Gulur. The next one, green, grajten. Next color is blue, blauer, repeat after me. The last is violet, fuel blauer, repeat after me.
Tak sme sa v rýchlosti naučili alebo zopakovali si farby dúhy.
We just repeated the basic colors of the rainbow. So what can you see in this picture? Is it a breath? Is it an inhale or an exhale? We did a breathing exercise with Lucia a while ago. And could you speak during such an exercise? Probably not, but in Icelandic language, people are also using noise during exhaling. So people are exhaling and talking at the same time. It is quite a common thing in Iceland. So if you know, when you talk during an exhale. But Icelanders, they also talk during the inhale. So it's a noise during the inhale. It's in soxhjöld in Icelandic, and here I have phrased this "jáva" means yes, and very often they use it when they want to express agreement. When we say yes, 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 and they say yeah. Yes, I understand you. So they use this yeah. So try to inhale and at the same time try to say yeah. So try talk and inhale at the same time. Don't be afraid. Nobody is listening to you. So let's try it again. And it will be another perception. So we inhale and talk at the same time. Don't worry, you don't look awkward. This is quite natural. A certain part of the world, this is very natural. We also had to learn it when we were studying the Icelandic language. And now I would like to hand over to Renata. We have brought Pauska egg for you. I do not have enough everybody, but actually this is the Easter egg, the Easter holidays are coming in Iceland. You have these Easter eggs, small ones or big ones. The chocolate is an adjective. It's some family fun when they unwrap the egg, and there is a proverb in each egg. You see this small piece of paper. So let's have a look together what kind of proverb is there. And now we will see whether we know this proverb, whether we understand it. I will read it in Icelandic. Well, this is a simple proverb, the one that we know and the one that we can explain to you. It means something like when you get up early, you can do more during the day. So somebody who gets up very early and then has, or we can say early bird catches the worm. But the literal translation is that early morning hour bring gold. But what we know in the Czech and Slovak language is early bird catches the worm. I do not have enough eggs for all of you. And I have one question for you. I would like to ask one thing.
Aký to má zmysel sa učiť všeobecne cudzie jazyky?
What is the sense of learning foreign languages? What's the point in learning foreign languages? What's the sense of studying foreign languages? Anybody who would like to answer this question? Don't be ashamed.
Máme tu na ochotníka.
Môžem?
Nech sa páči.
Tak ako ja to mám napríklad nie s islandčinou momentálne, ale s japončinou.
Right
je to,
now,
že sa človek zoznamuje
I
viac
would like to
tou
talk about
kultúrou.
Japanese. In Japanese,
výrazov.
you have a lot of
Totiž na formálnu a
expressions.
neformálnu
You
taktiež
have the
a potom
so-called
tú
formal and
formálnu ešte ďalej
informal
delia
Japanese,
na
and then
ako keby takú
formal
pracovnú
Japanese is
ako
divided
oslovovať
into kind of
nadriadených a
business
tak. Takže
language,
človek sa
how to
pomocou
talk
jazyka
to
dozvie veľmi veľa aj o tej
the
kultúre, aj o
managers.
tých
So by
ľuďoch,
learning
ako tam
language, you
zmýšľajú
can
a ako
learn
to
a
funguje
lot
v tej
about the
krajine.
culture, about the people, about life in this country. Anybody else would like to add what is the sense of learning foreign languages? what's
Tak ja si myslím, že
in it.
zbližiť sa s tou krajinou a možno keď
I think learning foreign language helps you get the country better, or if you live in this country, it's much easier if you understand and speak the local language, because not all people speak English. I think it's very positive, because by learning foreign language, we also gather new experience. Okay, let me ask a special question in a different way. Why doesn't it make it sense to study foreign languages? Is there an answer to this question at all? Why doesn't it make sense to study foreign languages? Do we have a reply? Do we have answer to this question? Why doesn't it make sense to learn foreign languages? I myself am still looking for the answer to this question. Do you have the answer? So we are studying foreign languages, not only those which are similar to our mother tongue. We are studying world languages such as English, but also less spread languages. For example, we can use our language knowledge in looking for a job, building our career, traveling. It all makes communication easier. So why doesn't it make sense to study foreign languages? Well, I have never received the answer to this question, and I've been looking for the answer to this question for a very long time, but I haven't found it. So why did somebody start to study Icelandic like myself or Renata? Well, we had various reasons. My reason was a linguistic reason, and as a linguist, I also studied other languages I was interested in, and Renata would like to add something. Well, I would like to test you. Anybody, do you remember the pickle? The word for the pickle? Now we can test how the senses help us remember the words. Anybody, do you remember how we say the pickle? And how do we call tasty? And do you remember?
Třeba lávu. Pamatuje si někdo lávu?
How to say lava?
Hrein.
Neratím.
Už jsem to povedal.
Hrein.
Počkej, tak další. Sušená ryba.
And what about the dried fish? Anybody? And what about licorice? Licorice? Pelandrek in Slovak.
Používám anglické slovíčko.
Ano,
maybe maybe English word can help you. It's lachkris. But I think we will need to finish. Anyway, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for learning how to talk and inhale at the same time, because this is something specific for Icelandic language.
Veľmi pekne ďakujeme Renáte a Bratislava.
Thank you very much, Renata and Bratislava, for your inspiring presentation. And may I keep the egg?
Takže ďakujeme veľmi pekne a
so thank you very much.
Aby ste sa učili cudzie jazyky.
And I hope we have inspired you to learn foreign languages in general. And as you have heard, the pilot phase of the Studio to Iceland is coming to an end. But we have a lot of plans for the future. We are interested in extending this model of cultural education 3.0 from Creative Center in Košice to the creative centers in Banská Bystrica and Bratislava. We would like to facilitate mobility of young people and professionals between Slovakia and Iceland, and also to expand the partner consortium with additional organizations from Slovakia and Iceland. We also would like to deal in depth with specific topics related to Iceland and to create create series of short documentaries in cooperation between young people and professionals. And last but not least, scale up the initiative to other European countries. Now I have an excellent message for you. I would like to present a short documentary which was produced in the framework of the initiative in cooperation between young people and Slovak television professionals. So we will broadcast this professional documentary on the April at 8 p.m. on the Slovak television channel 2. So we got the prime time for this documentary, and we really are very happy. I have seen a part of this documentary, and I really was excited about the wonderful documentary. Once again, I would like to encourage you to not hesitate and join our sociological survey. Your opinion matters. So please fill in the QR codes if possible. Fill in our sociological survey today so that we find the right direction for Studio 25 Iceland. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being with us online, and let me thank to all who contributed to today's successful workshop. Thank also to our excellent guests who came or connected from Iceland. Thank you to organizers, organizing team, and to all of you who came in person or connected online. I hope you enjoyed today's date. I hope you found a lot of inspiration for the future, and I think that Slovak-Icelandic partnerships and friendship will continue. And now, space for networking. Our guests will stay with us for a while, so we are more welcome to approach them and to talk. And also would like to invite you to taste, try to fish or these eggs. Once again, thank you very much for being here, and I'm looking forward to meet you at further workshops.